Welcome. It's May. I'm sure you all know that because of that stupid ass Justin Timberlake.
I have
picture.
no idea what you're talking about, Steve. What meme could you possibly be talking about? Justin Timberlake. I don't know what you're talking about.
Never seen it before, huh?
Never in my life.
Well, welcome. This is episode 4.
4. Yeah.
Fourth time's a charm.
Yeah.
Let's see how this one goes.
I'm pretty surprised we've been making them consistently.
Yeah. Finding stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of easy because you and me have very similar interests. And then when you...
Sometimes.
Most of the time, I'd say. Because, anytime I find something, we're like, you know what? Who would like this? Steven would like this.
You don't like Overwatch, though.
I do like Overwatch. I just can't play it too often now because I have a child, and the child takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah. I play a lot of Overwatch, if you guys don't know that. That game is the one that's pretty much my go-to if I don't have anything else to play,
Yeah, well, it's a nice... I mean, I don't know if this is how it was designed, but it's contrary to their other games, like Heroes of the Storm, and it's a very quick game. You know, like, you got, each match is, 3 minutes? Something like that, and then you start with the next one.
It's like... It can go up to 15 minutes, something like that.
No, I mean the individual matches. They don't last that long.
15 minutes.
Yeah, no, okay.
They
I
can.
get you. No, yeah. But I'm saying it's opposed to their Heroes of the Storm that take a lot of time and like Diablo running dungeons and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've never played those games. To be honest, the only reason I'm really into Overwatch is because first of all the designs for the characters and stuff.
Oh, they're super well done.
I think they're all pretty interesting. They're all kind of derivative of something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like McCree obviously looks like just like Clint Eastwood or any kind of cowboy character, but
yeah.
I think they all look pretty interesting. They're all I think they're all designed pretty well. But also because I've never been into an FPS from the ground level, kind of thing.
We were into Halo. At the ground level.
Yeah, but we were playing on console and
yeah, you're right. You're right.
I would always go to computer labs and there would be people playing Counter-Strike 1.6 or something, and they were all good at it, and I just always wanted to be good at one of those games. And when Overwatch got announced, I was like, I'm gonna try to get in on the ground floor of this one. I want to be good at this game.
And I think and it's mostly us just because we love, or me particularly, because I love character design. Every one of these characters seems like it's been flushed out.
Yeah, you could tell they have 1 million artists working on that game.
What I really think is really funny is, though, both of us had the same thought when we saw the roster.
Uh-huh.
And we were like, which one they designed first was Reaper.
Reaper? Why?
Reaper, I don't know. Reaper, to me, and I think maybe you agreed at the time, we were like, Reaper sounds like every cool guy's... version of their
just looks like
character.
He looks like he would like the Raiders.
Exactly. He just sounds like all sorts. He's supposed to be like the badass. He has a skull mask and he's got shotties and cross him in front of him. He just seems like a very stereotypical FPS.
You know what's funny though? That's a good point. He does look very generic, but at the same time, his design is actually still good. I think.
No, maybe,
he doesn't look.
I guess it did sound like I said it was bad. It's not bad.
No, yeah, I think
his design is very good. I think his character backstory, the little bits and pieces that we've gotten out of it, have been great. I actually like that he plays the bad guy so many times because he definitely looks like one, but you can tell there's a lot more there.
Yeah, I know what you mean though. Those elements have been used to death, like Grim Reaper. It's almost
Grim Reaper.
He almost looks like the Darksiders guy. I don't know what his name is.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I never thought of that. That's right. It's Death, I believe.
Oh. Oh yeah, that game. Yeah, I don't know. That game's about horsemen or something, right?
Yeah, but I never played it either. But apparently, the joke was that it's The Legend of Zelda done this way.
The joke was okay.
Well, because I saw a lot of people comparing it to The Legend of Zelda. Yeah. Even, for example, there was a drawing that the guys that do Penny Arcade. They drew the dude from Darksiders, but he had all the weapons that Link has.
Oh, okay.
So it was a cool drawing.
Yeah,
that was the thing.
They just announced a third one apparently too.
For Darksiders?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think the second one did so well, but I don't know.
I heard a lot of people played it, but that was just I don't know.
I mean, I've never heard it's a bad game.
Yeah,
I've heard mediocre things and I've heard good things. but I've never heard bad things about.
I don't know. There's just certain games that they look kind of generic to me, and yeah, like I said, it's probably.
It doesn't necessarily mean they're bad, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Everyone's really excited for that Prey game, and that looks exactly like what I'm talking about, just kind of like a generic.
Oh my gosh!
Like another shooter kind of thing.
I had such a weird conversation where I started talking to Dave, one of my old bosses, Dave Hall. I started talking to him about Prey.
Yeah.
And one of the things that came up, which I think was very interesting, was he pointed out that the game was coming out on Friday, which it did, and there was no reviews for it. And usually that means it's really bad, because they don't want you to know that the game is bad before, so they keep all the reviews away. But then I when the game came out and I saw, I don't think it was Easy Allies, I think it was IGN, who gave it a pretty good rating, and they were like, "Oh, it's no, it wasn't IGN. It was some dude on the internet who does really, really good reviews of it. I think it's called ACG or something, something like that. He gave it a really good review, not like stellar, but it was good.
It has good reviews on Steam.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure it's good.
But what I'm saying is it's very weird that the review for it didn't want to come out beforehand. That was very weird.
Like they didn't give out review copies. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm saying like a lot of people got it ahead of time and they didn't release the reviews until that day. I thought that was very weird.
That happens a lot.
Does it? Because the last few times, I remember for specific games, it was like the review's not coming out until...
Every Nintendo game is like that.
Are they really?
Yeah, they give out copies, but they don't let you release it until like the day of. Like people always complain about that. Like there was a group of YouTubers that got like Happy Home Designer before it came out, and they wanted to put up videos for it, but it was before the release date, and so they got like copyrights.
What a weird game to review. Happy Home Designer.
It must suck to be a hardcore Animal Crossing fan, because they've just gotten like...
You know what? I will say this. I did enjoy designing, like when you let me borrow it.
Yeah.
I did have a lot of fun designing the houses.
It's a decent game, but it was like...
I don't know if game is the right word
for it. That's what I'm saying. It was like $30, and I honestly only played it for like a day, and then I let you borrow it. And then they came out with that game for Wii U, the fucking... What is it called? Amiibo Festival, where it's like Mario Party.
Oh wow, I haven't even thought about that in a while.
It's Mario Party without the mini games. So just imagine how fun that is.
That's a very bad description for a bad game.
Well, supposedly they're gonna make one for the Switch, but I'm just like, it sucks. It's been such a dry spell for Animal Crossing.
The New Leaf was the 3DS one, right?
Yeah.
Everybody gave that one pretty good reviews, but it's Animal Crossing.
That was a great game. I mean, that was that's like a core entry in it.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Though. They haven't had like a real.
Sure. But I mean, going from the N64 to the GameCube, there was a lot of stuff that was added because of the internal clock thing.
Yeah.
But going from GameCube to the 3DS, I can't imagine they added a lot more than wireless play.
Well, most recently they got Amiibos. And
okay.
That stuff's actually pretty neat.
Yeah.
You can buy like furniture from like they have Zelda characters that they put in there. Like they have like a pig that looks like Ganon. Mm-hmm. You can buy all this furniture and it's like Zelda themed stuff.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but in true Animal Crossing fashion, you have to wait like a day to do everything. It gets kind of annoying, but
nope, can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that now because whatever trend has started where everything is available for everybody all the time.
Okay.
I think I don't know. I hate those daily login games. You know, because, for example, I'm playing right now, I have kept playing that Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links or whatever.
Okay.
Because every day you log in, you get something, and if you log in for 7 days, you get something at the very end. And I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do that. I think Netflix has really spoiled me because I'm, like, whenever
they release the whole series in
they just release it in one shot, you know, and I just like to binge watch the whole thing. Like when Cindy and I watch Supernatural, only when it's on Netflix. Like we've tried to be on the schedule that the CW does. I can't do it. We're like, we'll just watch it when it comes out. And this was before the baby, and now it's like we need to catch up while the baby's asleep or whatever. So
yeah,
you know, actually, that let me catch up on that on Daredevil. You've been begging me to watch that forever at this point, and I finally got to watch the first season.
It's a good show.
I gotta say, it was a very surprisingly good show because so many people had hyped it up. Not you in particular, just people, because they know I'm pretty big in the superhero lore. But Daredevil was never. He was never a big entry for me.
Well, I said you like that Defenders trailer.
I did.
So I was like, so I was like, why don't you just watch Daredevil at least? If you're gonna watch any of those shows, you might as well watch Daredevil because Iron Fist wasn't bad, but it wasn't like you can tell Daredevil was the show that got all the attention, all the budget, and like it's the first one, So
sure, right out of the gate. Yeah. I mean, you could argue that almost for the Avengers series of movies. Like Iron Man seemed like it got the biggest. Like, because they had to do all those suits and they got the biggest star because Robert Downey Jr. at the time I think was the biggest star they could get.
Really? He was like a cokehead before that, wasn't he?
You know what? You might be right.
I remember seeing like behind the scenes where like he was like I feel like I am Tony Stark because I was like in a big downfall in my career and then
you know what you're right. Maybe I had that backwards. Well, either way, I mean, the whole Defenders series or whatever. I was never in Iron Fist. The only one I ever touched was Daredevil, but people kept saying it's the best of the four.
I just don't think he fits in really. Like,
how so?
I was telling one of my friends this the other day. Like, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage all have powers that don't really require special effects. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Iron Fist is like all special effects. Like, well, if you were to look at him in like Marvel vs. Capcom. His fists glow with like these flames, and one of his supers is like he brings like this gigantic dragon out of the ground, and it like circles around him. I'm like, how are you gonna do that with a TV Netflix budget? Like, it just can't be done, So I think that's one of the reasons why it was like.
Well, I guess it's the same way that Thor fits in with the Avengers. It's a mystical element to the team.
Thor's movie was not very good.
That's aside.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of women who would disagree with you because apparently women like that more than men, and maybe it's just the eye candy.
Okay.
He's a very good looking man.
But you just to prove my point though. The Thor movie was not very good, and it was because something like him would require a lot of special effects, and it's the same thing with Iron Fist. His story is a lot of like.
I mean, is it that bad? Is it so bad that you didn't want to finish it, or was it like you watched it and you were like, eh?
No, but there's a lot of parts where he's just talking about like, yeah, back in Kunlun, one person is selected to be the Iron Fist, and he fights this dragon in this cave, and that's how you earn the mark of the Iron Fist. And I'm like, man, it'd be really cool to see a lot of this stuff instead of just hearing your ass talk about it.
Well, okay, so I've watched Daredevil. It's pretty fresh in my mind. I don't know how much you remember of it, the first season. And there is a trend, or not a trend, but there is a shot that they really like to use where you focus on something and then you hear Daredevil beating the crap out of people in the background. They did it a couple of times.
Okay.
Like when somebody was about to get shot, they instead of focusing on the gun, the person closes their eyes and they hear what could be either gunshots or fists punching.
Okay.
And then when he opens his eyes, Daredevil's standing there, everybody's on the ground. So there maybe that's a little bit of that where they're like, hey, look, all this cool stuff is happening, and here's the result.
Maybe they're just using the angle that he's blind, Or
like a motif for the entire thing is like, here's what you can hear as opposed to what you can see.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. You know what? I didn't even think about that.
I would give that show the benefit of the doubt only because there's a lot of things that are like impressively done in that show, like the fight scenes for one.
Oh my gosh, those people have told me about those where it's one big long shot.
I mean, you saw it though.
I saw them, and those are very impressive.
Yeah.
Because us working production and everything, it's like we know how long it would take to set up a shot like that. It takes hours and days, and then finally you do it, and it's 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and it's just to get that shot completely right.
You mean like how many takes, right, and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, no, just all the work that goes into doing something like that.
That's why it's kind of ironic because Iron Fist is like whole story is based on kung fu,
right?
And like,
it's just not very impressive.
It's not that good. Like, there's a lot of cuts. Like, I don't know. A lot of people said it's because like the guy can't really fight or something.
Could be.
But That's just why it's ironic to me, because like Daredevil's scenes are they're so freaking good, and all of his acrobatics and stuff.
The acrobatics,
like he always does this backflip kick.
Yeah, that seems to be his finisher. Like if this whole thing was like a fighting game, that would always be his finisher. The front flip to like, they're either on the floor, or they're kneeling, and he just front flips and hits them with the front of his foot. I don't know. It just they don't overuse it though. I'll say that, because a lot of it is boxing. It's still a lot of it is boxing. It's like people come in with the big swing and then he just like counters. And to be honest, he takes a lot of punches in the face. Yeah. But it all feels real. It definitely all feels real. He is supposed to be his training is supposed to be boxer focused, right? Yeah. Because he's following with his dad, and then with Stick, he trains him on how to do a little bit more. But it all feels pretty genuine. And you're saying that's lacking in Iron Fist. Like, he's supposed to be this kung fu master, and you're not feeling it. Yeah, not really. Is it because it's like, I don't know, in the comic books that I've seen with Iron Fist, he's pretty, like, he's supposed to be able to jump super high and do these, like, flying kicks. Because Iron Fist always reminded me of these old kung fu movies, almost. There's actually an episode where they kind of try and do that. It's almost like, I think it's Game of Death. That's a Bruce Lee movie where he's, like, in a tower. Yeah. They almost do something like that, where he fights, like, I think it's, like, either 3 or 4 different people. Mm-hmm. Almost like The Raid. You know, when they fight, like, different... Oh, man. The Raid is a great movie. But it's just, like... it's just not really done as well. It's still kind of cool, don't get me wrong. Right. But it's just, like, I see what they're going for, and you guys aren't really, like, especially if I'm comparing it to Bruce Lee or The Raid or something like that. Well, it's a little tough to do that, because Bruce Lee's kind of his own thing. He's not But even Daredevil has interesting side characters. Like, yeah, I mean, his partner, Foggy, I think they give him his time. I didn't even mean that. I meant, like, those Russian dudes. Oh, those, yeah, like, the two brothers. The episode where they focus on them. Yeah, I felt sorry for them. They were like, this is how great. This is something to really personify how great that show humanizes people. Because those two brothers are running a, like, kidnapping ring where they kidnap people and they sell them off. Mm-hmm. They grab women, they grab children. These are horrible, horrible people. Yeah. And yet in that moment, in that episode, you kind of felt sorry for the two of them. Well, that's what I mean. Like, they could have spent more time on every, like, character or whatever in Iron Fist. Because they kind of just, like, you meet them in, like, 5 seconds. And then somehow this guy, that's not very impressive in the kung fu regards, somehow beats him. I'm like, couldn't the same be said about Jessica Jones? No. Because they all know how to fight. Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Daredevil. They have somewhat superpowers, right? Mm-hmm. Jessica Jones, from what I understand, like, I don't know Jessica Jones too much, just from what I saw in the trailer, and she's an ex-detective that dealt with superheroes, no? No, she's like super strong and she can fly. Oh, she can. Oh, never mind then. Never mind. Yeah, we'll just cut that part out so I don't sound like an idiot. Her show's really good though. Is it really good? Yeah, but it's more of a thriller. It's not so much like a. It is superhero-y. But, is it? Yeah, but it's more like a thriller. Like I said, it's really good though. They don't really show that off in the trailer where she's super strong and she flies or anything like that. Because I remember seeing the trailer for it and I remember it really focusing on that. Well, she does. Well, she does apparently. Like, in Luke Cage, like I'll say it this way, like in Luke Cage, first shot of him, he's got bullet holes in his shirt and they're like smoking. Yeah. And then it goes from there. I was like, oh, okay, so he's invulnerable. I get that. Yeah. Well, and Iron Fist, he's just like, whoosh, like his fingers doing that or his hands doing that, that ball of energy thing. Yeah. Iron Fist thing that he does. Yeah. Well, apparently that thing. How would you rank them? In terms of, like, okay, you got Daredevil, Jessica Jones. Number 1. Okay, Daredevil number 1. Jessica Jones. And then, between Luke Cage and Cage and then Iron Fist. Is that the way they came out? Yeah, maybe Daredevil season 2 came out after Jessica Jones. I don't remember. But I'm really excited about seeing that because they introduced Punisher. Season 2 Elektra. Is really good. Season 2 is really I don't know how they're going to introduce 2 new characters because I know just from seeing, like, the not the trailer or anything, but when you saw the little what is it, the cover art for the second season?
Yeah.
It's the Punisher's skull with Elektra's dagger right in it. And I only know about it. The thing is, I know about Elektra because it was a great comic, I think it was called Punisher Max, where they delve into the three people that kind of surround Hell's Kitchen which is Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, Punisher, and Daredevil. And then Elektra's thrown in there. So it feels like this comic, or that series, is based heavily on this one because they really humanize Wilson Fisk. But Elektra in particular, how are they going to do that? They have to introduce a whole set of ninjas and all that, but I'm excited to see it. So
yeah, just,
we don't have to talk
just watch it.
I'm gonna watch it.
What do you think of Wilson Fisk, like the guy that plays him?
Dude, I was surprised because I didn't know he played Kingpin.
What do you mean?
I guess I must have forgotten it. The guy from what is it? Law and Order, Criminal Intent. He's a detective there.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah, yeah. And then it was really funny as Cindy was like, you know who he reminds me of? The bad guy from that Jennifer Lopez movie called The Cell. I was like, babe, that's the same actor.
The same guy?
I think it's the same dude. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's funny. And then she started laughing, so I was like, oh. But he does it really well. I was really impressed with him.
There's some times where
I forgot who he was.
I think he gets a little too intense, but
I mean that's kind of the character, though, isn't it?
I don't know. I remember him in Spider-Man the cartoon, and he was just like this big fat guy.
Well, he's not fat in the cartoon.
Yeah, he is.
No, you find out in one of the episodes that's all muscle.
Oh, whatever.
Well, I'm just telling you from the cartoon, because remember,
he's got a big old fat head.
I know, but there's an episode where Spider-Man actually tries to fight him, and when he kicks him, he says it's like kicking a brick wall.
Oh, what?
And then Kingpin grabs him by the leg, and he tosses him like a fly, and he's like, do you think I just eat a lot or whatever? And you find out it's all muscle. He's that hulking of a guy. All and right. they kind of do that in the series because he's really he beats people to death in that thing.
Oh yeah, he's really strong in the show too. But in the show he's got that suit, he has this, what is it,
it's a lining.
There's a lining in his suit that protects him from bullets or not bullets, but knives and stuff.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool. I like how it's it's very subtle how they kind of just throw that in there. He's
yeah,
he's not superhuman per se, but he's got a little bit of an advantage because of his suit.
I think that's why I like the show so much. Everybody is very human.
Yeah, well, I was telling you this too, and I was I like that Daredevil just wears a black sweater and a mask. And
no, it's one of those workout. It's one of those workout long sleeves, the Under Armour ones. That's what he wears. Yeah.
And then when I don't know. Okay, so the end of the first season they reveal the suit. Spoilers, whatever.
Whatever. He's wearing it in the second season.
I'm sure everyone knows that.
Yes.
But for some reason, when they reveal that suit, it looks super cheesy to me, and it took me a while to get used to it. I was almost the whole tone of the show shifted to okay, now I'm watching fucking Power Rangers or something. This is kind of weird.
I totally disagree with you.
Well, it grew on me. I like it, but
I really liked. First of all, I really liked the reveal. I like the reveal that he's on top of the truck and he's I'm Daredevil now. This is me. This is the identity. Because I like that the suit was built through all these little moments throughout the series. At first, it was when somebody tries to cut Wilson Fisk, they slow down, and you see that there's armor.
Yeah.
Right.
Under Armour, if you will.
Sponsored by Under Armour.
Yeah.
Then you see when Daredevil fights him, the same thing happens. You see a slowdown, and you see the armor again, and then Daredevil starts to inquire about the armor, and then the armor is built for him right under Wilson Fisk's nose, and then it gets revealed. So, but throughout the series, also people are like, "Hey, man, you really need some armor."
Yeah.
And it's not a joke. People don't tell him that. They're like, "Hey, buddy, you should really get some armor." Yeah. They tell him that because he comes home bleeding and bloody, and a lot of it is because he gets stabbed. Yeah. He'll have cuts, and they're like, you should really think about some armor. It would really help. And he's like, but it'll slow me down. Yeah. So it's dismissed. So throughout the series, they build.
And he says, "Nah, I don't think I need it."
You know what? Maybe I'll see it coming next time.
Yeah.
But the suit is made of necessity and you understand, like, the guy who gives him the armor tells him, hey, red spots on the armor, like anything red protects you fully, and then all the spots that are black, you're pretty vulnerable. So there's a purpose.
I don't even remember that, actually.
It's the guy tells him that while he's giving him the suit. So there is a necessity for all of it. Like, none of it is left up to, this would look cool, except for this one last bit, which is the little horns on his head. They never really, as far as I remember, they never mention it. Except that they kept calling him the devil of Hell's Kitchen.
They opened soda cans or something. I don't know. Yeah. They opened beers for him.
But because of all that buildup, I liked the reveal.
Yeah. That guy that made his suit, too, was kind of like a weirdo. I don't know. I don't read the comics, so I don't know if he was in the comics, but...
I don't remember like I said, I read very little of Daredevil. The only, like, I read only the Punisher Max series because at G4 we were doing a thing on that series, so I got into it and I have the comics. But that comic was more about Wilson Fisk than it was about Daredevil or Punisher or anything like that. So, I like the suit. I gotta say, it's really cool. You didn't. I mean, it didn't look very Power Ranger-ish because it looked like armor. And then a helmet.
I just mean tone-wise. Like, I'm used to seeing him in like some streetwear. And then all of a sudden he's like in this bright red costume that's like...
Is it like when Peter like went out in that little... Like in the first Spider-Man when he goes out with this homemade Spider-Man outfit that he used for wrestling? Like that?
No, because that looks stupid. I don't know. Like, cause
I guess, to be honest, the black suit looked like janky to me. Like, he just had like a thing pulled over his face.
I like that though.
The part that was janky to me was the one that ninja showed up, and that was just weird. It's just a random ninja. Well, not random, but it was like now Daredevil's fighting a ninja.
Ninjas.
And see, that's what I mean. When you
it's like out of nowhere.
When you say ninja.
Yeah.
In this world, it sounds really ridiculous.
Yeah, but they the hand, right? They introduce it with stick.
No.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
Ruined.
Okay.
That's what the second... Now you just ruined the second season for me.
You know what the hand is.
I do know what the hand is, but I didn't know it was revealed. I guess that solves that mystery.
It's like the foot.
I think they're in different worlds, man.
Yeah.
Actually, remember I told you that those two worlds are connected?
Turtles and Marvel?
Supposedly, I heard this story a long time ago where the chemicals that mess up Daredevil's eyes leaked into the sewer and turned the Ninja Turtles into what they are.
That's stupid.
I know it's stupid. I'm just saying it was something I heard. I don't know if it's true or whatever.
I don't think that's true.
Now that you made that connection, the Foot Clan, and now the hand, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's bringing it all together.
The head is next.
The head, the
okay,
kidney.
Let's just stop right there. Yeah. I think that's enough for those body parts.
Yeah, before we get to the real ones.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That new Spider-Man movie looks good.
The Homecoming one.
Yeah.
That one's heavily focused on Tony and Peter.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
All the trailers look good. I don't ever.
They do look good, and Marvel hasn't done wrong in terms of making a bomb. Really.
Thor. Okay, it wasn't a bomb, but
no, that's what I mean. Like, we just saw the Justice League trailer.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, like, I can't get behind.
I just saw
Justice League movies.
I just saw the Wonder Woman trailer. Actually, I didn't think it looked bad. The only thing is, like,
could be.
I'm not like on either side of it. Kind of thing.
No.
It just so happens that DC movies suck usually. You know.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, here's the thing. I
like the Batman movies. The Batman Begins.
Yeah, but those aren't connected at all.
That's what I mean. I'm like, what? Marvel, if Marvel does anything right, it's like planning.
Yes.
From Iron Man. Like, they already had Nick Fury at the end of the credits, like, saying, like, hey, it's going to be a Justice League kind of thing. Or,
you mean Avengers.
Avengers. Same shit. Nobody will get mad. It's going to be a Avengers initiative, whatever. Yeah. From the first movie, like, and then they go from there. Like, they've already had, like,
they have a plan.
They set timeline. Yeah, that's
because they plan it out so that everything gets its own time so that you care about it as a whole.
Yeah. There was only one that was kind of like at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. It says like, oh, they're gonna come back in part 2. I was kind of like, I just saw this one. Like,
yeah.
Like, how are you guys like already doing the next one?
Because they're always planning ahead. Like they wanted to turn Guardians into a franchise. Yeah. And they really did a great job with that movie. I think that movie in particular, nobody had hopes for.
What are you talking
And then
about?
all of a sudden, like, Guardians of the Galaxy was really great.
You mean like when it was announced or it was talked
about?
No,
yeah, because it's Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, even a comic, I don't know if I would call myself a comic book guy, but definitely I read comics pretty frequently as a kid. Mm-hmm. And I remember hearing about Guardians of the Galaxy, but by no means was it a favorite of mine. I was mostly stuck in X-Men and Spider-Man and, the big ones. But when I saw it, I was like, well, you know what? I like Chris Pratt because I'm a big fan of Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
And, the humor of it was like, okay, so this is the funny superhero movie. This is the funny team superhero movie.
I thought it was pretty good when I saw it.
It's good. I
haven't seen it. Like Marvel movies in general. I'm kind of like, I watch them once and I'm like, I don't think I need to see that movie ever again.
You want to see Ant-Man again, Steve?
Especially Ant-Man. No offense to Ant-Man, but like towards the end of that movie, I was already kind of like, okay,
is Ant-Man?
I get it. He's small.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Ant-Man was one of those movies where it really wasn't you could argue that it really wasn't about Paul Rudd. It was more about the relationship.
I think Paul Rudd was actually kind of a weird choice for that too.
I think it was a great choice for that because
I don't dislike the actor. I just think he's kind of like.
I love Paul.
I don't know.
I think he's really funny.
He just seems so like normal and.
I think that's why it works because he doesn't look like he's supposed to be a funny guy.
Wasn't he?
But he is a funny guy.
Well, he's like a criminal, right?
He's a criminal, yeah.
I don't. He just doesn't
but he's
look he doesn't look like a criminal to me. He just looks like a white dude.
Well, he did graduate. I think he says it in the beginning. I think it's a very funny joke where he goes, "Oh, I graduated and have a master's in electrical engineering from MIT, which is a prestigious college." And then he's like, "I'll have no trouble finding a job." And then it smash cuts to, "Welcome to Baskin Robbins. What can I do for you?" And the guys,
that's the kind of stuff I was kind of like, okay.
They're laying on thick.
Yeah, I was like, you guys are really forcing this humor on me.
And then Greg Turkington shows up.
Yeah, Neil Hamburger.
Which is funny because remember Paul Rudd did one of my favorite sketches in Tim and Eric history.
Yeah.
Which is what was it called? Celery? No, not Celery Man.
I don't know. On YouTube, they just have it as Paul Rudd's computer.
There you go.
Yeah. No, but Captain America... I feel like didn't have that. Captain America is probably my favorite one.
No, but Captain America is more of a war movie.
Yeah. I just like that aesthetic. Like old-timey.
Yeah.
If it isn't obvious from all the stuff on my channel.
I mean, Captain America's not...
I like the black and white old-timey kind of look.
Captain America is by no means it's by no means the best movie out of them, but it is one of the better ones.
Which one's your favorite, then?
It's kind of hard to say because to me, Iron Man is the best one because it does like the classic thing where the guy is a jerk and a bad guy in the beginning, and at the end, he has this great arc in the middle, and it comes from the fact that somebody was selfless with him, and he learns what his company's doing bad and blah blah blah, and then at the end he realizes this is who I am now, this is how I've changed and everything. Yeah. It has a great arc, great special effects, and it has that whole thing where it comes up with the suit. It's great.
Yeah,
the whole movie is great.
That was a good movie. I like that one.
The problem with Captain America, and it's not really a problem, but it doesn't have that arc because, Steve Rogers is always a good guy. In the very beginning, when he has no powers, he will stand up to... He even says, he's like, I've just never liked bullies.
Yeah.
And that's kind of his whole character. He's like, he doesn't like it when people take advantage of the little guy. And that's... all that movie is him doing that.
Well, he actually physically changes.
Exactly.
Form.
Yes.
He physically gets larger.
Yeah, but what's great about that movie, and the reason I like that movie, is all the characters that surround him.
Yeah.
Like the scientist, I really like. What's her name? Agent Carter.
Haley Atwell.
Yeah, there you go. I like Tommy Lee Jones in it. I mean, he's a one-dimensional character, but I really like him in it.
I completely forgot he was in that movie.
and Bucky. I gotta say, Bucky
has an arc in the second movie.
Yeah,
the second movie is really good.
Yeah,
mostly because of him, I think.
I agree, and see, that's an ensemble cast that really does it for me in that particular movie.
Yeah,
and it's kind of the same reason like people like Batman. Batman's kind of a he's an interesting character because of his backstory, but what's really great about that series are the bad guys.
Yeah, his villains are more interesting than
exactly. Yeah,
and that's probably why they thought Suicide Squad would be a success, but it just like
whew.
They're just I don't know, like that movie introduced a lot of villains, right? As far as I know, like that's the first appearance of Harley Quinn in a movie, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or like Will Smith's character, or
Deadshot.
Yeah, I just feel like they introduced all those characters in the same movie, and like from the trailers, Harley Quinn already looked like just like some gimmicky like oh, she's hot, yeah bro, like I'm totally gonna dig this, and I'm like that's how you're gonna introduce all these characters, like they're just.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen little bits and pieces of that movie because, from what I understand, the little bits and pieces are pretty much all you're gonna get.
Yeah, they got sued because or they were gonna sue them or something over the fact that Jared Leto is only in 7 minutes of the movie,
and apparently he got a bunch of.
I'm sorry, is it Jared Leto? Is that him?
Yeah, that's Jared Leto. Yeah, I don't know, man. That whole movie is kind of a mishmash of like ideas. I thought what was really cool is I saw these little sneak peeks where they introduce the characters and they have all this cool typography on it. I was like, oh crap, I dig that. That's cool. But then there's this one scene in particular, I think they had it on YouTube, where they're all talking and they're all getting introduced and everything, and they have these typography. And then there's this one dude who just shows up and he's like, oh, that's that guy. He's really good at climbing walls. And then we're like, well, he's definitely dead. And he's like, they're going to kill him off because they just didn't give a crap about him. And then in the next scene, that's exactly what happens. They just blow his head off.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, well, that's kind of dumb. It seems like that's kind of poor planning, isn't it? Like, you want to keep that information secret so that the person can discover it in the movie.
Sure.
And it's just like, okay, that just happened.
Yeah, like, just don't reveal stuff like
exactly.
that.
Exactly. It's,
You know that movie, A Million Ways to Die in the West?
Oh, yeah.
That was a pretty horrible movie, in my opinion.
Horrible? I don't know about horrible.
I thought it was...
I enjoyed watching it in the theaters. That's about all I can say about it.
I thought it was pretty bad. But what I was going to say is, like, they actually showed that part where he sees Doc building the time machine.
Oh, yeah.
They do, like, a Back to the Future joke in that movie.
Yeah.
They showed it in the trailers. And I was like, that was, like, the only joke that would have surprised me had I not known that it was already in the movie. Like, why did they mess that up so bad?
Did they do the joke about the ice cube in the trailer?
Yeah.
They did? Because I thought that was a really great joke.
I don't know. That's if you like Family Guy, sure, that's.
So you gotta like Family Guy to like that. I know you always tease me about liking Family Guy, but
I don't. That show is just very like any show that gets into like what is it like? It's like 20th season. It's gonna be a little more homogenized. It's gonna be a little more formulaic, but
well, there's only so many things you can make fun of before you start having to kind of go back to the well, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Family Guy is Family Guy now. It's got its own fans. I'm not talking shit.
Family Guy's the new Simpsons. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, because like, even The Simpsons is like nobody watched. I mean, sure people watch it, but like
yeah, they wouldn't keep doing it.
It's definitely not what it was before.
Yeah, well, people will keep watching it. So I mean, it just has to. I guess it just has to kind of meet a criterion. And they'll keep making it. Then I don't think they're going to stop anytime soon. That's kind of a moneymaker. I don't like. It doesn't make sense to stop it. If it keeps working, why?
No, that's
stop
what I mean.
Yeah. If they keep getting the guest stars, they keep doing that. It's all good. Go Simpsons, go. I mean, hey, I'll say this: if somebody told me, "Hey, do you want to go and take a tour of the Simpsons, facilities where they animate and do all that stuff?" I'd still be excited.
Yeah.
I'm not as excited as if it was, when Conan O'Brien was writing, but probably.
To be honest, I probably wouldn't go just because.
You'd have to drive to LA.
I just don't like leaving my house. But the Simpsons thing they did in Universal Studios is really cool. How they created like a portion of it is like the Simpsons now.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, they have not only do they have the Simpsons ride, which is the carnival area, kind of built out.
Yeah.
But they redid Moe's Tavern and Moe's Bar, so it kind of. Can
you actually get a beer there?
Yeah, you can go to Moe's Tavern and get a beer.
That's cool.
So it's like they're not connected anymore. Like the if I remember correctly, the comic book store Not the comic book store. I'm sorry. The Quickie Mart is by itself now.
Uh-huh.
And then the Moe's Tavern is connected to a chicken place, which is connected to something else, and you can get food, beer, and you can sit in the bar and eat there.
That's cool.
It's really cool. Yeah. The last time I went was when they were opening up the Harry Potter world, and then not a lot of people were.
Been to that.
That place is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Just because of how they kind of set it up. It's the exact same thing as in Universal Studios in Orlando. So it's exactly the same. But the one thing that they didn't have there back in the day was that wand thing. Like, you can buy these specialty wands.
Okay.
To, like, do spells in the little window shops.
Nice. Cool.
So you do, you do a certain motion, and you say something, and, like, a little box will unlock in the window. Or a feather will levitate, or the different things like that. So if you're a kid growing up in all this, so much fun. But I don't think more than likely, it's like a 20-year-old doing.
I haven't even seen all those movies, so I don't. I've seen the first 4, I think.
They're all good.
Yeah, they all seem pretty interesting. I'm just not a huge fan of it. It's definitely those are definitely movies that have their own worlds and they're very good at atmosphere, John Williams did the music and the sets and stuff. They all look really cool and everything's well flushed out.
Well, and it's surprising. This is the same studio that is bringing you all these DC movies. It's the WB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like Lord of the Rings. It's just I hear that they're long movies and I'm like, I don't really want to deal with it.
But don't you think this is weird? Now that you've said that, it brings up a really good point.
What?
The WB has done Harry Potter.
Okay.
Right? And the WB is also... What's the other one you said? They did Harry Potter and they were doing something else. I mean, they have...
The Simpsons?
Well, no, but here's the thing. There's... People say, they did so well on the Harry Potter stuff because their books are there to give them all the information they need.
Yeah.
Right? There have been books for all these superheroes there's so much written about them.
Yeah.
Why is it that they can't formulate something similar to Harry Potter in terms of movies? They took the books, one book, and made it this really good movie.
I think it's a lot like the X-Men movies.
Ugh.
X-Men movies always make money.
Yeah.
They always make a lot of money. So the quality's just never gonna go up. I think.
Well, it's not like they look bad.
The only X-Men movie I actually liked was First Class. And I watched it again, or I saw some of it on TV or something recently, and I was like, I'm already over this shit.
Really?
I don't know. People love those movies. I have friends that always get excited whenever a new one's coming out or something, and
I'll never understand.
Just recently, Logan came out, and it's gotten that's supposedly.
Well, I hear that's actually a good movie.
Supposedly, yeah, it's the best one. But I'm just I don't know.
I heard the cut was different because of Deadpool. Once Deadpool came out and they were doing this one, they're like, let's try to be a little more R-rated.
Well, my point was X-Men always sells, so they're not going to make it any better.
Because even though they might be terrible, the people that go watch that will always watch it, even if it's just to criticize it.
How many Wolverine movies have they been? And they're
my gosh! Well, strictly Wolverine. I think it's 4.
Okay, it was
because
it was Wolverine Origins,
right?
And then there was the Wolverine,
right?
And then there was Logan.
Is that it? Really?
Maybe, I don't know. Well, because I know I don't know.
Did he come out in First Class? I thought I saw him in First Class.
He's in First Class for 5 minutes. And he has a cameo basically.
Oh,
but it's funny because
they still paid him, I guess.
Yeah, they keep even after he's done speaking, they leave the camera on him for 25 seconds.
They gotta get their money for that, having Logan in there. Did he look younger, or did they do the thing?
I don't know. I don't like Hugh Jackman as. This is the most
unpopular.
He
does a fine job.
This is the most unpopular opinion of all time. I don't like Wolverine. I don't like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I just think he's too. He's 6'4", isn't he? He's really tall. He's 6 foot something.
Is he?
Yeah.
I know Wolverine's supposed to be 5'5" or something.
Yeah. Anytime I've seen, I only know Wolverine from Capcom games. He's a little short, hairy dude.
Yeah. I think the original, like...
Hugh Jackman looks like some guy dressed up in, like the front of the Halloween costumes. You know how, like, they have, like, a bag with the Halloween costume on? He looks like the model on the front of a Wolverine costume.
Yeah, he's a pretty man.
But just, like, I don't know, he just doesn't fit the role, I think. But whatever, you know,
He's a pretty guy, and, I mean, he does... I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. He does a fine job. Like, they tried so hard with that character, and it just... I think Logan is the best one because they were able to just ugly him up and make him this old, beaten up man who's just trying to do the right thing. Those movies are kind of always popular.
So that movie's supposedly like the last one he's gonna do as Wolverine.
I think that was the last one
because like the contract is over or something.
Well, yeah, I think he just doesn't want to do it anymore.
But I was like, okay, so like in the comics, right? That's like Old Man Logan is like the last Wolverine thing because of how it ends. Right?
Well, no. Wolverine, if you're implying that that's like the end of the Wolverine story, no, it's not.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And Old Man Logan is one of those what if kind of comic books.
Oh, okay.
So, no, I don't want to spoil that one because it's a really well done series.
Well, I was just going to say, like, they're not going to make any more, and this is the one this is the one that was actually good. So I guess it's...
I mean,
good for them. They went out on a good note.
I'm sure
finally.
They'll throw more money at him.
Yeah, I actually think they will. They will somehow make Logan 2 somehow.
But I think he's done with it. What I'm saying is that Hugh Jackman is tired of playing Wolverine. Is what I'm saying.
He's tired of making too much money. He's just. I
think he has enough money for the rest of his life. I don't know how old he is, but no, unless the only way I'd be tired of a Wolverine is. I should say, the only way I would give Wolverine another pass is if the Marvel studio that does the TV shows gives him a series. Because so far the TV series have not been bad. They've just from the stuff that you've done that you've shared with me about all 4 of those, and then Defenders coming out, everybody's super excited. I think they do a good job with it, but that's never going to happen because who is it? It's Sony owns Wolverine, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they own X-Men.
Yeah, they
own
X-Men.
By extension, they own Wolverine. That's why you've never seen X-Men or them say mutant in a Marvel movie. They've always
they own the word mutant.
They do. They actually do. That's why instead of I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Marvel is doing a movie called The Inhumans.
Okay.
Because then they, instead of calling them mutants, they call them Inhumans.
Oh.
But you'll hear mutant all the time in an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
It's like, you mutants.
That's just unfortunate because I don't know. Like I'm really. It's almost like X-Men's had enough chances to get it right.
Yeah.
At this point, for me at least.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, I don't really give a shit anymore.
I really like that joke in Deadpool.
Like in X-Men First Class, it's all like pretty good.
Right?
And then at the end of the movie, Magneto comes out. And he looks stupid.
it's that helmet, right?
Yeah,
the helmet.
He looks like a car.
It's the helmet.
He looks like a hot rod or something. He's all shiny and like he still has like the purple and red color scheme. I'm like, that doesn't work in real life. You can't have that.
It can work. It's like I don't know. I agree with you. I love that in Deadpool, he's allowed he makes that joke about. It's funny is we got this big mansion and I only ever see you two, which is Colossus and that that New Mutant girl that explodes, and he's like, it's almost like the studio can only afford you two. It's because I think Deadpool was released by Sony or published by Sony.
Yeah.
So they're able to use the word, X-Men or blah blah blah. They're able to use some of that, which is why they was like, you should come to the X-Men or whatever, and they used the mansion and all that.
You got that movie for Christmas, and I remember you put it on the next day. And I
like that movie.
That movie's okay. That movie's fine. I'm not saying it's shitty. There was just I was watching it and I was like, some of these jokes are I feel like they're already out of date. Like I think he says nailed it at one point or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's pretty old at this point already. Is this just gonna be the theme of the movie? I'm just gonna be hearing memes from a year ago.
That's kind of what he is. He's just a nonstop. He's just a nonstop joke machine but they're all inside jokes to him.
Yeah.
Because supposedly he's just crazy. I think it's good, and I think I enjoyed the movie more because I don't think I was in the place, or I wasn't. I shouldn't say. I wasn't at Comic-Con when they showed I wasn't in there when they showed the trailer. But I was at Comic-Con when that trailer was shown, and I remember hearing about it just from word of mouth. Like people were talking about it, and then we went online later and saw the little CGI made thing.
It's like the intro, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is the intro. Yeah, but it's completely different from that. But it's still the same sequence of events.
What about it though?
But I remember following on news clips that whole thing with the studio and Ryan Reynolds and all that stuff, and it just I like that it got made. I really applaud everybody who actually got that thing made. It's great.
You know how you were saying like Ant-Man has like those hard cuts to like
smash cut to
like comedy or whatever. Yeah. That's all of Deadpool, like just like turned up to the maximum, like just constantly like trying to make you laugh, and I just don't appreciate it.
Maybe
it's just not my, like I said, it's just not my kind of movie. I'm not saying it's bad. It obviously got like amazing reviews, right?
Again, I think this is one of those things where people didn't have high expectations. So when it did happen...
I think people did have high expectations.
I don't think so.
People love Ryan Reynolds.
They do love Ryan Reynolds, but they don't forgive
and there was like
Ryan Reynolds for Green Lantern.
Well, there's a part in the movie, too, where he talks about that, right? He's like, fuck Green Lantern or something to the camera.
I don't think he ever says that.
I swear, it's something like that.
There's a lot of little jabs at Green Lantern. Like he says, don't make my costume green or animate it.
Oh, okay.
That's the joke towards
or a lantern or a ring.
He never says that.
Fuck Green Lantern. Am I right?
He takes a jab at the Deadpool from X-Men Origins as well.
Oh yeah.
Because he was Weapon something, or he was Deadpool in that movie too.
Is that what X-Men Origins? Is that the one where he does that?
Not X-Men Origins. I'm sorry.
So many X-Men movies, dude.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah, because he's with the team and he's Weapon X.
You're right.
And Deadpool is. I even forget why.
Remember we saw the
because he's Deadpool. He's Deadpool, but he's like not messed up or anything. And then they mess him up.
Remember that?
Yeah, don't remind me. Because remember that
one. CG wasn't in place yet, and a lot of them were like.
That intro to
a lot of them had like notes like.
He's like, put airplane here.
Yeah.
Because remember,
gross claws.
It said gross claws.
I prefer it like that. It's funnier that way.
I remember that there was a part where it said gross claws.
Yeah, I know. That was a good movie.
I just remember too, like I was thinking while I was watching that, because remember they do a lot of CGI composites, and then there's this part where Wolverine and Sabretooth in the very beginning, they're in World War II, I guess.
Okay.
And then they're like watching. There's a sound of a plane, and it says like there's this just cylinder above them. And it's like that's supposed to be the airplane, I guess, dropping bombs.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was such a terrible movie because there's those parts where, I think Sabretooth flings Hugh Jackman into a pile of logs or whatever, and it goes from being Hugh Jackman to some like
CG.
3D ragdoll that they're going to render out later. It's just how did we get that anyway? It was a LimeWire or something?
I acquired it legally.
Yeah, through the proper channels.
There was no funny business there whatsoever.
Oh my goodness, we acquired it so legally.
Yeah. It's funny, that reminded me. I had to play the X-Men Origins game for G4 when I was interning there.
Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
That game was actually like not bad, but I remember they had made me play through like so many parts so many times. I was just like, God, I'm so sick of this fucking game. I don't care anymore. I don't like whatever stupid skins you get. I don't care about the references. I don't care about any of this. I just want this game to be over.
Was that the one that had that weird portal room in it? As an Easter egg, and it was just randomly in there?
I don't remember. I just remember I had to play the first level over a bunch of times, and the first level has like a part where you like jump on a helicopter and kill some guy. In the first level? Super violent or something.
In the first level they pulled that trigger?
Yeah.
Jeez. I'm sorry you had to do that.
That's they could like all that violence they could put in a video game. It's like that's just why that doesn't work in a movie. Like you can't you could do so many things in a comic book you can't do in a movie. It's like I
think that's why people enjoyed Logan, because I think they show him.
It's very bloody.
Yeah, just ripping people apart.
Well, like Sentinels. How do you do Sentinels in a movie? I know Sentinels were in a movie, but like.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They were in a Days of Future Past, I think.
Yeah.
But like,
I'm sure they just CG'd him in there, and it looks fantastic or whatever.
But remember how awesome they were in the show, like in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Like watching Wolverine like rip him to shreds and stuff. That's
that was
like,
very cool.
Like just make another cartoon. Why do you have to keep making?
Cartoons are expensive to make.
These terrible movies.
That's why. Speaking of bad CGI, I hate to bring it all the way back to Daredevil, but I know this is a bad segue, but that was probably the one of the biggest critiques I had in that. There's like a part where somebody murders somebody. And
they use CG blood.
They use CG blood, and I hate CG blood. It always looks bad. I remember I watched this other series called Spartacus, and all they had was CG blood, and I stopped watching it because of that. I don't like CG blood.
You like real blood.
Get some fake blood and just composite it in because it looked really bad. I don't like that. All the rest of the movie is very gritty, it's very real and all that stuff, and then there's just CG blood. It's so weird. Why would they do that? I don't know. Maybe they just didn't get what they wanted out of the shot and it just replaced it, but probably the only black eye for the whole thing. Because the rest of the series I really liked.
Black eye? Like a
black eye. As in the only bad part about like the whole face.
It was the only blemish on the face.
Exactly, the only blemish, I should say. Maybe that's a better term for it. Ugh. But yeah, I hate that was a weird segue, but I really hated that CG part. It's a bad part.
I've been watching Boardwalk Empire, and
how is that?
They actually use a lot of cool practical effects, like the blood and stuff is real, or I should say like when they shoot someone in the back of the head and they splurt, they like it splashes onto the camera or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like CG blood splatter on the lens or anything.
It might be. Maybe it's just good looking. But
I've yet to see one that's that
like
good.
Like I said, since I enjoy like that old timey aesthetic.
Oh yeah, didn't you watch The Sopranos too?
Yeah, but that show was like in the 90s, 2001.
Yeah, like but still, they had CG.
No, but my point was Boardwalk Empire was like, it's like a period piece at like a point in time that I really like.
Right.
That's why I really like it. But
kind of like the Captain America. Is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not the same time period, but it's very similar.
No, but you like that whole. Well, it's the same reason you started playing Mafia 3 or Mafia 2.
Yeah.
It's the same deal.
Yeah. Or like, if you guys like Bioshock Infinite, it kind of looks like that.
Is that a selling point for you? I think Bioshock's like 1916. I want to say.
Yeah. Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah, 1916.
No, I think it's 1912.
1912.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, it would be that time period.
Yeah.
What is it you like about that?
About the time period?
Yeah, I mean, these are clearly
it's the way they dress and how the music sounds like. It's like an analog sound with like that. Those little like what is that called? The music goes all like grainy and staticky and
like it's on a record.
Yeah, simpler times.
Simpler times when the world was more racist than it is today.
Yeah. There's definitely racism in Boardwalk Empire.
And in Mafia.
Yeah.
I played the demo for Mafia 3 recently.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, they're really not shying away from any of this.
Yeah, and a lot of people, that was actually like they try to do that in Bioshock Infinite, but they kind of like.
I really don't think they were.
There was some guy, I forget who it was. He made a really good point that like Bioshock Infinite basically like censors history, because they're not really
willing to push it that far.
Yeah, and they're like you're kind of doing the opposite when you try and do that. You know, you're not.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You take a look at when that this is gonna send us off on a weird tangent. I don't even know if we should start talking about it, but if you look at the development of that game, it goes from being this really, you know, I don't know how to say it. There's a lot of racism. There's a lot of political hierarchies. all this kind of stuff that they want to address with these two characters, and then the one that we got was like way watered down. Like they showed that these are the people that affect.
You're saying like they probably censored the game or something?
I mean, there's so much of that game that was going to be.
I will say this: every E3 they had like a completely different gameplay trailer.
Yeah, and that's like, the thing is, like one of the first bad guys I think was like this Uncle Sam looking dude who would.
Yeah, what are they called? God damn it!
I don't remember, but he was one of the first big guys that you were supposed to meet, and like he's nowhere in the game. Yeah, almost like they didn't want to have you.
You got replaced by those things, where it's like a head in like this thing. With
the Boys of Silence.
No, it's like there's like a heart.
The Handyman.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I think it's the same Handyman you fight every single time.
Yeah.
Because it's like you fight him in one.
But I guess he turned into that. But there was one E3 trailer where he was like, "Oh, Elizabeth, there's some shit over there. Can you like pick it up?"
Yeah.
Telekinetically. And
I remember that trailer where she could literally pick things up and throw them. Like she was your. I think the idea, from what I got from the trailer, she was going to be your plasmids.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, like she would do all that stuff for you, and you just kind of build her power up.
Yeah, and then like the final game looked like nothing like that. Like she looks completely different.
Yeah, and I've made this argument before where I know some of my friends are sick of hearing this, but there's this whole thing about the gameplay in BioShock 1 and 2 really doesn't fit in BioShock Infinite. Like this whole world in the 1960s is supposed to be
it's
this
1910s or 20s.
No. The BioShock 1 and 2.
BioShock 1 and 2, I think, is like
1959. I think it's like going to be the new year, isn't it?
You want it to be 60 so bad.
No, I think it is. Well, okay, I'm wrong. Let's just say I'm wrong.
I don't know
it's
what
1950s.
It
Doesn't matter.
I think it's like 1940 though.
Okay, 1940. Mm-hmm. It's the whole society built on the fact that give power to the people. So they gave these powers to the people, and this is the result. When people are given too much power, they get drunk on it, whatever, and it destroys society. And now this whole society, everybody there has these powers, but you are harnessing them to do something good.
It's a dystopia towards
right,
is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. And this is an example of how it could go wrong. Now, so it's like everybody has power, and nobody is above anybody else. Is kind of the idea.
Yeah.
Everybody has their freedoms. Everybody has ultimate power. And then you go to BioShock Infinite, where the whole thing is everybody believes in the Prophet. So effectively, they've given up their rights, their powers to this person. And so nobody has powers. But yet somehow they're offering them at the state fair. And then you get them, even, like, it doesn't make any sense.
Mean. Like in original BioShock, you scavenge for stuff in the trash because it makes sense.
Right.
Because everything's destroyed.
Right.
And you're looking through trash in BioShock Infinite, and it's like everything's clean.
There's restaurants. There's places to get food.
You could just go to,
And you can make the argument that, you can, but it's because the world starts getting destroyed as you go through it. And that's fair, but in the very beginning, you can sort through the trash. It doesn't make any sense. It's not a scavenging game. It's... I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
I know what you mean. Like, why wouldn't everyone just be using these powers for their own...
Right, exactly. And you could say that some people have told me, well, supposedly this is the introduction of those powers. Like, they're at this state fair and they're showing them off now. So this is the first time that they're there. The only thing I say to that is, like, then why are there salt things all over the place?
It's just... I think BioShock Infinite was just... They were like... It was being forced to be like, it needs to be BioShock in the air. Make BioShock in the air. And they were just struggling to like to force it into that template. Yeah. And there's just things that have to be convenient to the plot, like
it's true.
It just so happens, nobody took advantage of the powers. They're all just cool.
It's just, there's one dude you fight that has fire, and then that's it.
Yeah.
It's just the one fire dude, I think, and that's the fire dude and the raven dude, and I think that's it.
And then the shock jockey guy. There's some guy that steals, like, the...
Yeah, he steals it, so he's not really, like, the master of it.
All that being said, I really enjoyed that game.
I do, too.
Just because of the...
I do, too. The aesthetic is really calling, and I do enjoy the relationship between Booker and Elizabeth.
And it's cool that they tell you a story, and there's virtually no cutscenes throughout the whole game.
Yeah, it's all done...
In-game, you're like moving around.
Which is part of the kind of the BioShock narrative. They do that in the first two games and then in this one. again, enjoyed the game, but there are problems with it.
I will say though, they did that second DLC. Okay, so the first DLC, I think it's I don't know what it's called. It might be Burial at Sea. The first DLC episode they did where you're like in Bioshock, I think it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's Booker.
You're playing as Booker. That's the one.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not in Rapture.
You are in Rapture.
You are?
Yeah, you're in Rapture.
It fucking sucked. I thought it was really bad.
Yeah, you're Booker, and you and Elizabeth, this alternate version of Elizabeth where she's, like, I guess she's your age. She's much older. She comes and tells you, you need to find this girl.
Yeah, that's
and
the
then
one,
you find her.
And then at the end, it's like, okay, well, I won't spoil it, but...
At the end, you switch over to Elizabeth.
It has kind of a dumb ending. Episode 2, where you're playing as Elizabeth, I actually thought was really good. Because they don't clutter up your plasmids.
I think it's just 4, right?
Yeah, you just have 4, and they all do something distinctly different. Because, like, in Bioshock Infinite, it was like, okay, so you got crows, and you got, like, electricity, which are essentially the same thing, or, like, fire, which is like, okay, I have...
Well, they're not the same thing, but you're saying they do the same thing.
Yeah, they're like a stun, and they're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, they overlap.
Yeah, in that DLC with Elizabeth, you get, like, an invisibility one, you get, like, a defense one, you get... Did
you get the freezing one?
No, I forget what you get in that one.
Isn't that Old Man Winter?
You get that in the first DLC, I believe.
Okay. Well, I understand what you're saying.
They all do something different, and it's really well thought out, and that one's actually worth playing, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, the DLC for... I want to say Bioshock 2, where you play as Zeta.
I played Bioshock 2 when it came out, and I don't remember anything about it. Like... I completely forgot about it.
I did enjoy it up until you had to do the whole... I enjoyed that game, except that they took the crappy part, in my opinion, of Bioshock 1, where you have to defend the little sisters. Yeah. I didn't like that part at all. I don't like escort missions.
Oh, and that's like the whole game?
That's like the whole game.
Yeah. I didn't mind
Up until those points, I enjoyed the game, and those points seemed to be like, ugh, I gotta defend another little sister. It got easier as you went along, because you just set all your traps, and then you just wait for them to show up, and boom, boom, boom. Yeah. But then, like, it always bothered me, and this is not a game, or a deal breaker. Uh-huh. But you're playing nice with the little sisters. Yeah. You know, you help them escape, or you harvest them. Right. I totally understand that if you harvest them, the big sister comes out and she's like, what are you doing? And she messes you up. Uh-huh. But if you help them, why is she still pissed?
Yeah. It's like in Bioshock Infinite where it's like, there's decisions in there that don't really do anything.
They don't do anything.
It's like, oh, which necklace do you want her to have? Doesn't matter, actually, because it's the same ending for everybody. Or like...
Or like when the Luteces ask you to flip a coin.
Is that what they do?
And it's always heads.
There's a part where you can get your hand cut.
Yeah, or not.
If you don't shoot the guy or something.
Yeah, or not.
And it's like, doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter in terms of the end, but yeah, I think they bandage your hand after that.
This one guy, there's this one, this guy named Matthew Matosis, he makes YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. He makes like hour-long videos.
Oh, he's really great. I love him.
He makes like hour-long videos about video games, like talking about how they could be better and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he says in Bioshock Infinite, he has like a pretty good suggestion. The intro to that game is like, you get to throw a baseball at somebody, right? Right. And they wanted you to throw it at like this black guy, or you could throw it at like the announcer dude. Yeah. Right. But it's like they just tell you which choices you can make. Right. They don't matter later on, but his suggestion was, why not just let you pull the trigger to throw the ball, because that's what you do in an FPS. You pull the trigger to fire, right? Right. And he's like, and then if people are smart enough to look at the announcer and throw it at him, maybe that can be like a cool little like Easter egg, or like like if you're smart enough to think about it on your own, you know, like give them that credit that they can do something different, you know.
Gotcha. Like, don't make it such a decision as much as
it's like, do you want to be a dick or do you want to be a good guy? Here you go. Like
yeah. Oh, I remember that now when he suggested that.
Yeah, so
because it does make a difference in the reward you get for it later on.
Oh yeah, it does.
It does make
give you like a little box of something.
Right, but either way you choose, you get something. but it's not exactly the same reward.
Oh, okay.
Because somebody will say, "Hey, man, it was great that you were gonna throw it at those was it a black guy they were gonna throw it at?
I think it's.
Or was
like
it a married couple?
I think it's like a white guy and a black woman, and they're an interracial couple.
Something like that. Like if you do that, somebody praises for you later on, and they're like, "Here's a reward for it." I think, and so it's not really a decision.
Here's some more baseballs.
And I think that's kind of that might like I'm thinking now as I'm hearing it in my head. I'm like thinking, is that the whole point of the game, that you make these decisions but none of it matters? Because remember, at the end, it's all like, there's always a lighthouse and there's always a man.
Yeah.
Is that the whole futility of...
I don't know.
Oh, God.
The story that...
See, this is what I can't talk about Bioshock Infinite, because it goes... I could go down the rabbit hole about all these different things that could have been, but... I
honestly think it was just like... Ken Levine. That's the guy that made it, right?
Ken Levine, yeah.
He was probably getting asked to change the game so many times,
so.
And I think at the end it was just kind of like...
Fine, here's your game.
He was probably just like, I'm just going to put this fucking game out. Like, if it makes sense, it does. If it doesn't, I don't care.
Because
like,
I distinctly remember a trailer where you're Booker, you're looking down the scope of a sniper rifle.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to hang Elizabeth.
Yeah, and I'm like, that never happens.
Of course not, because she's like... So, I mean, there had to be a way different role for her in the story. Because if they're going to hang her, she wasn't this, like, Lamb of God or whatever.
Yeah.
Like she is in the regular game. So I don't know. It's changed so much you can't really judge it by that. And I'm sure Ken Levine is just like, I'm not gonna do games anymore.
I don't know if he's not gonna do games anymore, but
I think he. No. I was gonna say a friend of mine sent me a game done by that production company, but it's not I don't think Ken Levine's part of that company anymore or something. But anyway, not a bad game, just not the best in the series.
No,
in my opinion. In my opinion, because
I was trying to look up how long it took for that game to come out.
I think it was 5 years.
I feel like it was a really long time.
I feel like it was 5 years.
I can't find it, but because if you add on how long it took for that DLC to come out,
yeah,
because the first one came out like right after, and then the second episode, I swear it took like months. Like,
yeah, because I remember buying the DLC.
Yeah, it got like the season pass, and it's like won't be out for another 5 years or something.
Yeah, just God, it was really bad. But anyway,
yeah, good
game, just not. I think people just wonder what it was initially. That's why
a lot of ideas that seemingly did not come to light.
Right, a lot of because I have that art book, remember, and there's all these cool ideas in it. And I didn't remember seeing a lot of them in the final game.
You know, in that DLC, I think they bring back the weapon wheel, too.
The what?
The weapon wheel. In Bioshock Infinite, you can only have 2 guns. You remember how in the original Bioshock, you have like a wheel of every weapon?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You have 2 guns.
I think they bring that back in the DLC, which is like, why did they take that out? It seems like a step backwards.
Because it's unrealistic to have, like, 8 weapons at your side, I guess.
But a city in the sky is very realistic.
Well, didn't you hear the Lutises? They explained it.
So Audacity took a shit, and it stopped recording. Thankfully, we already said what we needed to say. So we're just going to stop it here. And Ernie, any final thoughts?
No, just like we said last time, leave us any comments or questions that you want to have us answer.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you next time.
See ya.